One of the biggest frustrations for people on their health journey is trying to find out what's the best diet for cancer, because pretty much everyone either wants to avoid it or 1 in 2 of us are going to run into cancer. And there's so many arguments on both sides out there online. You'll hear a lot of conventional medical doctors say it doesn't matter what you eat. Then you'll see people argue that carnivore diet is the best diet for cancer. Then you'll see others say that it's got to be all alkalinic and plant-based only, and that meat will cause cancer because of the mTOR pathway. So let's break some of this down. First of all, there's never a perfect one-size-fits-all diet that works for every single person. I've got my opinions on what I think the majority of people should be eating, which we'll get into in a minute, but there's always a certain percentage of people that are going to thrive the other way. So let's look at what is common amongst everyone before we decide what kind of diet to eat. Well, we know that all cancers happen because the mitochondria in a certain number of cells has failed. The mitochondria is the energy producer of the cell, and those cells are now mutating to stay alive, essentially. That's what cancer is. So we do not want to add things to the body that is going to create more toxicity and more inflammation and drive more mitochondrial failure. So that means do not eat foods that are high in any kind of chemicals. Our seed oils like vegetable oil, canola oil, soybean oil, all must go. They create so much inflammation. I wouldn't be having any chemicals like artificial sweeteners like aspartame. We've definitely got to avoid all the artificial food dyes and food colorings. Basically anything that's a nasty chemical that you don't want in your body, don't eat a food that has it. It's all going to create inflammation, stress on your cells and mitochondria, and it's going to lead to more ability for cancer to happen and proliferate. We also know that virtually all cancers thrive on glucose, so we need to be really careful how much sugar we eat. Now, I think there's a big argument to be made on the difference between sugar from organic fruit versus processed sugars, although I also think that if you just lived on fruit all day, every day, and you had cancer, you are still feeding it. But there's so many good nutrients from organic fruits, especially things like berries, that it's worth having some, just not making that the centerpiece. But we do not want to have any processed sugars, nothing like high fructose corn syrup that's going to jack up sugar and our blood sugar levels and create a whole host of havoc. So while we're on this trying to starve cancers from glucose, we also want to be doing a lot of fasting. Intermittent fasting, try and eat in a 6-hour window doing 18-6, and 2 to 5 day water fasts are going to help as well. There's so many great nutritional supplements that you can take that's going to help your metabolic health improve. So you're not taking those to kill cancer. I often see this argument that you can't take supplements to kill cancer. That's right. You're taking them to improve your metabolic health and your overall immune response so that your own body can take out the cancer cells like it's designed to, but it lost its way. And so if you're doing all of those things and avoiding all of those things, now your body's in much better shape to get healthy and heal from the cancer. Now it's not as big a deal what type of diet you're going to eat. However, in my opinion, from what I've observed with people, what I've seen in the research, I think more often than not, people do better on a carnivore style diet, meaning they're eating a lot of grass-fed red meat, so clean meat. They're not getting conventionally raised meat that's pumped full of hormones and toxins. Grass-fed red meat, including organs, so eating nose to tail, pasture-raised chicken eggs, really good for you, organic fruits, and if you're going to eat vegetables, they've got to be organic, but we want to eat ones that are lower in lectins or oxalates. So any of the things that have sulforaphane in them, like broccoli or broccoli sprouts or cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, normally going to be really good. But if you eat too many plants that are high in lectins, they're going to tear up your gut, creating leaky gut, inflammation, autoimmune problems, and that's all going to drive the cancer. So while I do think some of you are going to thrive on a plant-based diet, I think the original research that showed the alkalinic versus acidic of animal protein diet was wrong. There's more than enough evidence against that now. So I think the majority of people should be focusing on clean, very clean animal proteins and not as many vegetables, but the vegetables and fruits they're eating need to be lower in lectins and oxalates so that they're not stressing the system. If you're someone who thrives on a plant-based diet, then eat plants all day, but you still, and even more importantly, need to cut out the lectin plants and the oxalate plants because they are going to drive up inflammation. But in my opinion, when it comes to cancer and what you eat, it's more about what you avoid than what you eat. Now, it's important to get all the micronutrients we need, and that's where I also think On a plant-based diet, you need to supplement with more things that you're not getting because you're not having animal protein. But no matter how good the foods are that you eat, if you eat a lot of the toxic stuff as well, you're always going to be in some trouble. So it's avoid first, then worry about what you thrive on when it comes to the cleaner eating. If you've got questions or you disagree with me, great. Put that in the comments below. I love to have conversations with people who see these things differently. Health is about all of us learning and growing together and asking better questions. It's not about agreeing. And never forget to hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss the next videos I have coming out on these very topics of cancer and diet.